Greetings to you and welcome to this episode of G.R.A.C.E Podcast. I'm Timothy Muse. I'll be your host as we spend this time together today. It's a joy to be with you. I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for making this podcast a part of your journey. And as always, I want to thank you for being on the journey. I want to thank you for traveling through with this. It is truly a joy and a blessing and really, really powerful that you're here. You're listening. That means that you're interested, you're questioning. There's something in your life that you want to give energy to. And I'm so pleased for that. You know, most people, they just won't. They'll just swim in the eddy of their existence. But you're listening, you're reaching these podcasts, you're gathering this information because you know that you want to be better. You want to be stronger and grow more. Now, that doesn't mean, when I say you want to be better, that doesn't mean that you're bad. Not in any way, shape, or form. This is not a question of your identity. This is not a judgment. It's just a statement to say that we all have places that need to grow and expand. We all have places that could benefit from getting energy, getting attention, getting focus. And you're here to do that. Maybe you haven't identified that place yet. Maybe you're just wondering. Maybe you're just starting to question. Maybe you feel stuck or a little out of place or whatever. If this is your first time to the podcast, then welcome aboard. If you've been listening before, then welcome back. It is a joy to have you as part of this. It is a joy to walk with you. If this podcast is helpful, please share it out there. It's not proprietary information. I want everybody to hear it. Put it out there on your social media feeds. I post on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and Facebook. If you follow me or the Life Coaching on any one of those feeds, you're going to see these. If you're on one of the listening platforms, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music, then follow us, give us a rating and review. Every positive rating and review tells the platform people are listening, and you'll get notifications when a new episode arrives. And if you want to reach out to me directly, GRACELifeCoaching.com. It's got all my contact information. I truly would love to hear from you. GRACELifeCoaching.com is how you can get a hold of me. And if you want to make an appointment, if you got some questions, you got some, so just, it's a journey, whatever it is. I'm here to do whatever I can to help you out. GRACELifeCoaching.com is the website, and I truly would love to hear from you. So we have been digging into discipline. We've been talking about discipline. We talked about what discipline really is. We explored how discipline creates freedom. Today, I want to get real practical because discipline is the foundation, then habits are the structure you build on it. If you're building discipline, you build habits. Your life is shaped by what you do daily, not occasionally, not when you feel like it, but what you do consistently. We're going to talk about how habits form, why they matter, and how you can start building habits that actually move your life forward. Habits are so vitally important for our life. Because let's be clear, you don't live your life in big moments. You don't. You live your life in daily patterns. It's the daily patterns of a typical day that guide your life. I mean, think about it. Think about how you wake up. Think about what you do first, how you spend your time, what you eat, how you respond to stress, how you end your day. These are habits. Over time, these habits compound. So if your habits are aligned with your growth, your life will move forward. If your habits are inconsistent, your life will feel stuck. That's how it works. So here's the key idea. Your habits are creating your future, whether you realize it or not. They are. Your habits are creating your future, whether you realize it or not. So it begs the question, are your daily habits building the life that you want or drifting you away from it? Are your daily habits building the life that you want or drifting you away from it? Such a powerful question, such a powerful thought, because your habits are what you build on your foundation. So let's clear something up here. This is important. Most people, they focus on goals. I want to lose weight. I want to be successful. I want better relationships. Goals are good. Goals are great. Goals are important because they give us direction. Goals show us where we want to go. But goals alone don't create change. You can set all the goals in the world. You can have goals for everything. But if you don't engage them, if you don't work towards them, then they're just goals. Then they're just things hanging on out there. Goals are great. They give direction, but goals alone don't create change. Habits create change because a goal is something to aim you for, but a habit is something you live for. Let's take an example. Let's talk about that for a little bit. So the goal is I want to get healthier. All right. That's a great goal. I think we all should have that goal. So the habit is I move my body every day. Because if you want to get healthier, movement is one of the primary ways to get healthier. Movement and nutrition. That's it. So if you want to get healthier, if your goal is to get healthier, you have to have habits that will lead you into a healthier lifestyle. I want to be less stressed. That's another thing that we could all handle, right? More health, less stress. Habit. I take 10 minutes each day to reset my mind, whether that is through meditation, prayer, mindfulness walking, whatever form that you use, whether you're a spiritualist or not, doesn't matter. You reset your mind. You disconnect for 10 minutes a day to reset your mind. I want to be less stressed. My habit is resetting my mind. My goal is to have stronger relationships. Another great goal. Strong relationships are really powerful. We just spent a series on this podcast talking about the power of relationships, the importance of them. But you need to have a goal. You have a goal to set relationships, stronger relationships, but you need to have a habit. I intentionally connect with people daily. That's my habit. My habit is every day I text one person. That's my habit. You see the difference? Goals are outcomes. Goals are visions. Goals are expectations, desires, and they're awesome. They're so incredible and necessary because they tell us where we want to go. Habits are the systems that get us there. You don't rise to your goals, my friends. You fall to your habits. See how that works? You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your habits. Whatever your goal is, if your habits are not in alignment with your goals, then you're not going to reach your goals. That's just how it works. See, a habit follows a pattern. It's important to understand this pattern. When we look to change our habits, we have to understand how habits are formed and what the pattern of forming a habit is. So a habit is basically a 3-point process: cue, action, reward. So a cue leads to an action. The action leads to a reward. So the cue is the trigger. A trigger happens. Then you respond to that trigger and you get something from it. So the cue, a trigger happens. That's your cue. You respond to that. That's your action. And then you get something from that response, which is your reward. All right. So let me give you an example. You feel stressed. That's your cue. All right. So I have stress. Something is stressing me out, something that is pushing me. So my action is I scroll my phone. That's how I do it. I get stressed. I scroll my phone. Your reward is you feel distracted and relaxed. Okay. So the cue, which is stress, you want to be distracted and relaxed. So the action is to scroll your phone. Now, here's why this matters. If you want to change your habits, you don't just focus on stopping behavior. You don't. You don't just focus on stopping behavior. You replace it. All right. So if you take the action out, so I feel stressed and I get the reward, I'm not going to get the reward of feeling distracted or relaxed if I don't have an action. And if I don't have an action, then that stress is going to stay there. The cue is just going to remain. So you don't break habits, you build better ones. So instead of stress equals strolling and stress equals scrolling, and let's be clear, we all feel stress. We can't get away from stress. If we could live a stress-free life, that would be wonderful, but there is no stress-free life. So we can't get rid of the cue. We have to replace the action. So you feel stress, that's your cue. Your action is scrolling, okay? Well, you want to change your action. You want to build a better habit around your action. So you shift from scrolling to walking. I feel stressed. So that's my cue, action, walk. Reward, I feel rejuvenated and relaxed. Okay? Or you shift your action. I feel stressed. That's my cue. So my action is breathing. I'm going to take a deep breath, or I'm going to do a breathing exercise, or I'm going to journal. All right? So you have the same cue, but you get a different response. Well, ultimately will lead to the reward you're looking for. If you want to be distracted and relaxed under stress, you can scroll or you can take a walk. The walk is going to rejuvenate you. It's going to distract you. It's going to relax you, but just in a different way, because now you're aligning your habits with your health. Remember, you want to get healthy, all right? You want to build habits that build health. Walking is one of those habits that build health. So when I feel stressed, rather than sitting on the couch and scrolling, I'm going to go for a walk, all right? So your same cue, different response, similar reward, but it's the action in the middle that changes. And over time, the new habit becomes automatic. All right. So when we change that action in the middle, when we replace it, when we build a better one, we don't just want to okay, I'm feeling stressed, but I can't go to my phone. Okay, now I'm feeling really stressed because I'm stressed, and now I'm really stressed because I can't go to my phone. No, I'm feeling stressed. So rather than going for my phone, I'm going for a walk. I'm feeling stressed. So rather than going for my phone, I'm going to journal. I'm going to get the reward I'm looking for, which is distraction, relaxation, mitigation of stress. The stress is there. The action changes. And over time, the new habit becomes automatic, because guess what? The current habit didn't just happen overnight. You didn't always have a phone. What did you do beforehand? All of a sudden, the phone became convenient. Scrolling and distraction became convenient. So it's about building better actions when we receive the cue. We will always receive the cue. The cue is always going to be there. Maybe we will learn to decrease our stress, but our stress will always be there. We want to build a better action, which will build a better outcome, which will then begin to align our lives with the goals that we set. And we will build those actions over time to align our lives with the goals that we set. See how that works? And as we build better habits, we get better results. And as we get better results, we reach our goals. So habits are so vitally important when it comes to reaching our goals and changing. But sometimes people get stuck in this. They get stuck in this because they want to change everything at once. A new diet, a new workout plan, a new schedule, a new mindset. That's a lot of change in a very short period of time. And it lasts maybe a week. Why? Because it's too much. You're redoing too much of the system at one time. It's overwhelming and it's unsustainable. You know, when we look at ourselves and say, wow, I'm really out of shape, and I'm not eating right, and I'm not working out well, and, I've gotten to this place over a series of years of decisions. Now I want to reverse those decisions in a week. It's not going to work. So people get stuck because they think, I can't change my habit. I tried that before and it didn't work. Yes, but how much did you try? Sometimes we take on too much. Real change doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. Big difference. Real change doesn't come from intensity. It comes from consistency. Small habits done daily create big results over time. I've said this many times before about the importance of change. When we change something small and we do it consistently over a long period of time, we get big change. I know I've used this example before in this podcast, talking about the Titanic. I'm a pretty big Titanic buff. And one of the theories that's out there is that the one who was reading the sextant, the one who was making the plot course, read the sextant like a degree wrong in their current location. Well, what happens is when you read something like that for a degree wrong, that really doesn't matter in the moment. It's like, okay, you're 100 feet away or you're 200 feet away. Somebody can see you. But when that misread goes out, that 1 degree sets a 12, 15, 20 mile out of position. So when the Titanic struck the iceberg and they radioed their position was wrong because the last sextant reading was misread. This is one of the theories. And so the sextant reading had them at point A when in reality they were at point B. That is how a small change over a period of time has an effect. Okay? So small habits done daily create big results over time. So let me give you a real simple example. If you improve just 1% every day, 1%, that compounds into massive growth over a time, over a year. If you're talking about weight loss, all right, you want to lose weight. Well, unless you absolutely have to drop massive amount of weight right now, if you plan on losing 1 pound a week, which is not a hard thing to do, 1 pound a week, and you compound that over a year, you've just lost 52 pounds. See? So you're not going to be able to make big changes overnight, but over time, small changes can produce big results. And when we adjust our habits, small habits used over time create big results. So instead of asking, what big change can I make? Ask, what small action can I repeat daily? What small habit can I repeat daily? Because small habits are not small. They're powerful. You know, we like bigger things. We're a big thing people. The bigger, the better. So we want to make big change, and we want to make big change now. But small habits are actually far more powerful because they're sustainable. They're sustainable over a long period of time. So what small change can I make and be consistent with it? Remember, consistency over intensity. What small change can I make over a long period of time to see my growth, to see my change? So here's what I want you to do. Let's make this really, really practical. I want you to just focus on one thing in your life, one thing. Let's call it a keystone habit. Now, you all understand what a keystone is. You know, when you're building arches, all right, you're building arches with bricks. The bricks go up, but they're held together by one stone. It's called the keystone. If you go to an old building, a brick building, you see a brick arch, there's a different stone right at the top. That's called a keystone. That's the anchor. That's what keeps the arch in place. So what is one keystone habit? One habit that to do it naturally improves other areas of your life. One habit, one keystone habit. Maybe it's exercise. Exercise improves energy. It improves mood. It improves sleep. Maybe your keystone habit is exercise. The one thing that you're going to change right now is exercise. And again, it doesn't have to be going to the gym and pushing heavy weights around and being on the treadmill for an hour, but movement. Move your body. Maybe your keystone habit is a morning routine. What is it that you can do every day? Create a morning routine. It improves focus and productivity. You're not debating with yourself when you're going to get out of bed. You're not debating with yourself how many times you're going to push the snooze button. Morning routines are powerful. I know I've talked about my morning routine before. I have one. I get up relatively same minute every day. It ebbs and flows a little bit depending on my sleep, but within 10 minutes, I'm out of bed. I have the same routine every morning. I do the same thing every day. Journaling. Maybe journaling is your keystone habit. It improves clarity and emotional control. Maybe it is drinking water. You're going to drink more water in a day. What is that one keystone habit? That one thing. Look at your life right now and choose one habit that will have the biggest positive impact in your life. That one habit, just one thing that will have the biggest positive impact in your life. Maybe it's going to bed at the same time or waking up at the same time. One thing. Now, here's the deal. Then make it simple. So simple you cannot fail. Not I'm going to work out for an hour every day. Let's say your habit is exercise or movement. Not I'm going to work out for an hour every day. That can be pretty unsustainable. I'm going to move my body for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Move my body. Maybe I'll get a chance to go swimming a couple times. Maybe I'll get to the gym a little bit, but I'm going to move my body for 10 minutes a day. I'm going to call up a stretch video on YouTube and I'm going to stretch for 10 minutes or whatever. Start small and stay consistent. That's the thing. That's the consistency aspect. Start small so you can stay consistent because that consistency will build momentum and momentum will lead you into something more. Look, I pretty much guarantee if you build a habit of moving your body for 10 minutes every day and you stay consistent with it, it won't stay at 10 minutes. It'll become 15 minutes. It'll become 20 minutes. It'll become 30 minutes. That is how momentum works. So choose one keystone habit. One thing that will have the biggest positive impact in your life. And then keep it simple, very simple. So simple you cannot fail. And then stay consistent in it, my friends. Stay consistent in it. Build that momentum. Build it. And if you don't know what habit it could be, then ask yourself a couple questions. What's one habit in my life right now that's holding me back? What's the one thing in my life right now that's holding me back? What is the thing that I'm doing that is holding me back? And what is one thing I can do tomorrow to start moving forward? What is one thing I can build on top of that habit? Remember, we're not removing habits, we're replacing them. So what's that one habit that's holding me back? Maybe it's not drinking water. Maybe it's going to bed too late. Maybe it's getting up too late and you're running into the morning, throwing your clothes on and brushing your teeth while you're brushing your hair while you're getting in the car. What's that one habit in my life right now that is holding me back? What's my goal? My goal is this. What's that one habit that's holding me back? And what is that one habit I can start today that moves me forward? What's the one thing I can do to replace that habit that's holding me back with something that's moving forward? Your future is built on what you do today. Not occasionally, my friends, but consistently. And if you want to be in a better place, it starts now. It starts now with small, consistent behavior and change. That's what I got for you for today, my friends. I hope it's helpful. If it is, please share it out there. Put it out there on your social media feeds. I post on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and Facebook. If you're following me on one of the listening platforms, then please follow us. Give us a rating and review. Love to hear from you. If you want to reach out to me directly, GRACELifeCoaching.com is the website. That's how you can get a hold of me. It's got all of my contact information on it. I really would love to hear from you. If you had a question, you wanted some coaching, whatever I can do, I would love to hear from you. At Grace Life Coaching, we want you to be the best you.